Recording again, take 2. Alright, I think I got it this time. Haha!
Nice.
There we go.
Hello to anybody that may be watching this in the future. We're all crossing our fingers and hoping that this recording works well. So...
It may not. And
if it does, great. Save for posterity.
Yes.
If it doesn't, we all lie anytime something comes up that was covered in this meeting that didn't get properly recorded.
Right, correct.
That broke my brain, but yes.
There's an unwritten agreement that what happens at the Robo-Rave stays at the Robo-Rave.
That's right. Hang on, let's get these shirts up.
So is a group of crabs not called a rave? Is that correct information?
No, they are called a rave.
Mm-hmm.
They are called a rave. So
Yeah.
Are we not just a bunch of robotic crabs?
Hey. 11 figures.
Hey, I got crabby feet.
I mean, at this point, I think it's more like a bunch of robots performing brain surgery on each other. Like, while one person is doing the brain surgery, the other one is, like, doing it at the same time. Like...
It's just like when the one person controls the brain from the outside, except it's a loop.
Yes.
Okay, let me get some notes open here because I feel like there's going to be a lot I'm going to need to write down from this.
Notes? No, we just change stuff as we go and forget stuff the second we say it.
Google Docs. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good, Adrian. How are you?
Oh wait, Pooey, this means that it's gonna... Well, hopefully the people in the video don't mind looking at my notes that I'm taking alongside this because I don't feel like changing this right now.
Well, just type the word butts a couple of times.
Man, that temperature's dropping.
Blank document. Alrighty.
Wait, what?
I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Awesome. So we just have to fill in like 1,300 years worth of content.
Yes. Yup.
Yeah.
I think a decent starting place would be where are Annabella and Wilfred starting from? Like, what's the starting position we're working with here?
Oh. Well, so for a little bit of a refresher, if I remember right, we restored his memories first, I think.
No.
And we
had restored
our
ours.
memory. Yeah.
Then we were working on him.
Yeah, because we're going to do all of him at once.
Yeah, so we were like reprogramming him and restoring his memories all in one go.
Okay.
Jace.
So we have all the memories,
Yes.
and now we're trying to make Pete not a robot.
Which, speaking of which, if we have all of our memories back at the time that we're doing this, does that change what we do?
Well, what do we remember? We only need to get filled in on like 1,300 years here.
Yeah,
Well-
I'd say first if we want to brainstorm the world building.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like what Builder and Annabella remember about various things. And then, is there anything that you'd be like, yeah, he doesn't need to know about that period of 500 years where we all took off and lived in a hippie commune? Like, we all agree, right? We're okay, yeah. We tried to have cheese as our unit of currency. Yeah, no, none of us ate. It made no sense. All we did was farm and then throw the food away.
No, it was avocado-based society. Come on.
It was the least productive society that has ever existed.
Well, okay. So then I guess that raises... Yeah, what do we remember? Because, like, okay. So Annabella remembers her creation then. Like, being created as a prototype unit. She would remember her time spent in the nurseries of the Iron Temple, like taking care of the children of the people that run it there. She would remember being discharged because basically everybody was like, no, it's too freaking weird to have a robot taking care of our kids. And then she would remember wandering around looking after, like, trying to take care of other people's kids, being rejected, and then eventually stumbling into the Underdark.
I do kind of assume Annabella had a period of like maybe 10 years where she was sneaking into windows and just being like,
well, no, it'd be like she'd just be like at the park, just like, there's kids here, yay, time to take care of them. And then the parents would come back and be like, the frick is this?
why is there a giant porcelain woman trying to corral my children? They require supervised play.
I mean, pretty much, yeah. And it probably is like a period of like 15 or 20 years of just wandering around like this.
So I figured the sort of, based on what Dylan kind of laid out with the idea of like the Warforged kind of got turned into the go fight the monstrosities thing, that it was just sort of a societal thing of like, no, I don't want to tank watching my kids. Like, it might be a really good tank, but I don't want to tank to watch my kids.
Well, pretty much. Like, my thought process behind it is the guy that built it, right? He was just like, this is a good enough reason for me to like get approval to start prototyping these things. So that's what he did. But then when it actually came to like, the idea behind it though was more that eventually it would be combat medic type units that would go out and then they would be able to take care of the troops that are on the field. But it was basically decided that, well, no, these are meant for fighting, not for taking care of people. So we're cutting off your resources at the third one.
We'll shelve it and move on.
Yep.
So the prototypes came out before any. When were the prototypes made?
1154. So 10 years after the start of. Because I'm assuming like 11.4. The reason he has that name is because he was. Like, wasn't it 1140 or something when you were built? 1145?
It was something to do with the serial code. I know that. That's all I know.
Let me pull up my cheat sheet on the serial code.
I know I have one somewhere. I just don't know where mine is.
Because I feel like, does Wilfred have 2 serial codes? Because he started as one thing and then got repurposed later into another.
I think if you wanted to go off that, he'd technically have probably in between 4 and 76 serial codes.
Okay.
So,
dang,
because we never decided on how many robots it took to build Wilfred.
Well, and Wilfred's in that first like weird group where it initially was not designed for. Dang, I think he moved it. Dip.
Are you looking for the Land of Vale stuff?
Well, I've got his new World Anvil thing, but
I don't know how to navigate World Anvil.
It takes a bit of practice.
His original document had a breakdown on it too.
Yeah, and I don't think I looked at it again, and I don't think it's on there anymore.
I think he either reverted it or moved it.
I think I have an original copy saved somewhere, so I'll see if I can pull that up.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was made in 1194. Okay. Math.
Oh no, he did, didn't he?
Dylan. You can't give us things and then take them away. History of Vale is blank.
Yeah, he literally yeeted that thing out of there.
Yeah, and he may have done it so that way.
To help move things onto the world anvil, basically.
Yeah, and probably also in case we wanted to rewrite stuff or something.
Maybe. But Dylan, you need to use what you've already created.
Yeah.
So where it's like WF, then the first number. I think that is supposed to be the year built.
Yep, that is the year built.
So you got the WF, then the dash, then year built, then dash, then class
thing,
then dash, then you have your Legion number, then dash, then you have your serialized unit number.
Yes.
Sorry for my crying baby.
You're good.
You're good. And then I think Pete and I don't know about you, Evan, but I think Pete and I, we both have military unit numbers as well that are just our Legion mixed with our individual's number.
Yeah, I don't have that because I don't have a Legion number.
Okay, that's right.
Like mine is just dash LNA. It's Legion not applicable. So
yeah.
Okay.
And unit 3 because you're
yep.
Third prototype.
Okay. Yep.
Also, here's my thing: is technically, I think only the head or brains of the original robot. Everything else is just scrapped from who knows where.
Yes, I think that's the case. That you were originally in a much...
So does Wilfred remember his original body and then being deconstructed and reconstructed into this new form? Like, is Wilfred just like, my old body was so beautiful, why did they do this to me?
I had 15 fingers on every hand.
I mean, honestly, I don't see why he wouldn't remember that unless those physical memory units were taken from his current body when putting them back together. Which wouldn't make sense because then you lose all of his knowledge.
I think it would make sense for Wilfred to remember the before times and then the traumatic event of getting like drafted and shunted into this crappy, like good enough for war body, and then having I'm not trying to make things dark. Like shunted into this, crappy war body, and then okay, we don't need you anymore. Bye.
Yeah.
Well, can I have my body back? No.
No.
The question is then, what happened to Wilfred's old body? Is there just like a good Warforged body chilling in the ground under Mudwobble somewheres?
With, we never, that was never decided what happened. It was just assumed that, I don't know. So I was a builder, and then now, so it's assumed that I still have one good tinkering arm. So would that mean that I just lost everything else except for one arm?
Were you like destroyed in battle, like partially, and then when they rebuilt you, they just rebuilt you with inferior, like normal unit parts?
I think Dylan had said that something along the lines of there were 200. No, because there was a beginning. I thought he said at some point there were the beginning 200 units, and then some other number of units that were assembled after, like, it was on the tail end of everything, and it was kind of a last-ditch effort to get just a couple more units to just... I don't remember, though.
Well, we're writing the character. Would you like Builder to be in that first initial, kind of glory days run of, like, yeah, I was built to make the world a better place. Why am I fighting a Tarask? Oh God, it's stepping on me. Oh no, I'm in this crappy body. Why?
That's what I've always thought of it as, and what makes the most sense to me.
Okay. So I was kind of like weighing how, like, what the Warforged experience was, but I think it kind of makes sense for the idea of it to be basically just like waves. Like they just sent like these were not high level NPCs. This was like level 4 fighters that just throw enough of them at a Tarask, stick a +1 magic weapon in their hand, and eventually they'll kill it.
Yep.
It's not like humans are to just keep throwing them at it.
I mean, allegedly there's only 7,000 of them made.
Per legion.
Was it per legion there was 7,000?
Yes.
And there's like 777 legions or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like,
I don't. Oh.
So there's a few million of these things that were produced.
I mean,
Holy.
these are like Mark 1 battle droids. Like, just pour them on the battlefield, and eventually they'll run out of bullets.
Yep.
A dime a baker's dozen.
Yes.
Damn, there's a lot of them.
So 11.4 is just one of these basic units.
Yes. There actually was a really good old it's old now. There was a Star Wars comic book about a B1 battle droid, like the crappy chicken-headed battle droids that had survived the entire Clone Wars and survived the original trilogy. And Luke Skywalker found them, and you basically was like, how did you survive? You fall down if there's a stiff breeze. He's just like, I was lucky and eventually smart.
Damn.
And that's basically 11.4.
Yes, 11.4. Like, all right, I am a history nerd. I chose his leaky legions because it kept not getting completely destroyed. It was the 4th Legion was sent on a campaign that basically nobody else came back from, but enough of the 4th Legion came back. They're like, okay, we don't need to like start over. And yeah, I just basically thought of 11.4 as kind of like the just didn't die. Not the best, not the smartest, just, the breath weapon didn't hit his part of the line or didn't, and so he just kept getting promoted.
Promoted.
Good job. You're captain now. What does that mean? We're going to have 40 new guys underneath you.
And you all get to go do the exact same thing that you just did.
You get to go back out there. Why?
You just get to be in the front.
Okay, I'm going to try a thing real quick here because this Wi-Fi keeps being stupid. So if I make one on my phone and connect to it, will it murder everything or make it better?
The world may never know. That's why I'm out on airport currently. This is the inside of my local airport. It's obviously very busy and very big.
Hey, I live 5 times a year a crop duster will go up.
Hey, this place is awesome. I love it. There is like an apartment in here, and it's kind of cool. It used to be where the airport manager lived. Because they used to field plans, but now we have credit cards, so.
So now it's Keaton's pad.
Yep, now I just come here for Wi-Fi.
Okay, I am now on phone internet rather than internet. Let's see if we still get chop outs every 2 to 5 minutes.
Usually it catches back up with itself.
Yeah, I mean, usually you don't skip any words. It just stops and then goes really fast.
It was actually like when Pete went on his thing about the 4th Legion, it actually like, it went so fast that it was just like, bleh, and then it was back up to where he was. So
Don't worry. I know that's exactly what my wife hears whenever I talk about history stuff. By the way, that right there is instructions on how to draw the number 4.
Now that you pointed out, I can understand why that had needed to be pointed out.
And there should be right here, where they're a couple of days away from it, will be how to draw the number 11. And that will just sit behind me.
Ooh.
Until it is replaced with something very sinister.
You see, but the problem is, I feel like part of what's going to be in this upgrade is that 11.4 gets to pick his own name.
Yes. Or at least he's going to stop being called 11.4. I had a name I was going to give him. Well, originally I sent it to Dylan just as Paluda. But I don't know. I'll have to figure out something for him.
I mean, the party did me a lot better than they did you for names. I've been Wilfred Pennyweather and Builder.
Yes. And I do take credit for Builder, just because I was like, no, 11.4 is not going to think of him in the same way.
Are you the one who started calling me Builder?
Yes. Because I was basically, it was when 11.4 realized that Broadleaf was not, Broadleaf was not Broadleaf. And so he stopped calling him Commander. And I was basically just like, okay, next authority figure.
Well, it's funny because Wilfred is named Wilfred because Zai blurted it out, and then Zai immediately left, and then Feltith came in, and he just kept hearing 11.4 call you Builder, so then he was like, oh, he must be called Builder, okay.
I guess that's his name.
I still get called both, and I'm like, okay.
At least it's not Keaton.
Name's character after player's name.
Yeah. Never confused again.
You wouldn't be wrong.
The problem is every character you made after that would have to be the same name.
You just do slightly different spelling variations.
Ketone.
Yes, although I have no idea how to spell Keaton differently than Keaton.
Keegan?
Keytonne. For sort of an English flair of the British turn.
That is funny. I like that.
Okay, where were we? Reprogramming 11.4.
Yes.
So Builder was in the initial 200, the like
Yes.
really nice and fancy, and then got squished.
Yeah. And then thrown back together.
And then
with
thrown back
pieces
together
out of the bucket.
with what was available, and then sent back in because it was just, there's a problem.
Go fix it.
Send the robots after it. We've got like important things to do.
You know, like there's two gods battling or something like that. I don't know.
There's gods fighting and there's goblinoids fighting everyone. I don't know. We can't deal with this.
Just throw a bunch of robots at him.
So who is they? The they that sent us, because I'm pretty sure the original 200 were built by dwarves in the Temple of Iron what?
The Iron Temple, I'm pretty sure that's
the
just
Iron
what it's
Temple.
called.
Okay.
So I don't know this, but I'm guessing that it was sort of a alliance of order, like the Iron Temple and the dwarves and the Kingdom of Vale and Colfax and.
Well, didn't Dylan mention like dwarves, elves, humans, halflings, like they all kind of came together? I thought he mentioned something about this.
Yeah, I wrote that down. I don't know if I
Yes.
should have, but I did.
Yes, they were the ones, because there were three threats all at the same time. There was the goblinoid army that the humans, elves, dwarves, halflings were dealing with.
Yep.
There was the monsters that the Warforged were dealing with, and then
The Forgotten were fighting the gods.
Garagos and Cedric were taken out by the Forgotten. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that Thomas is tied into.
So basically, if I'm understanding, I think I'm understanding this correctly, then the dwarves, like before the Warforged existed, all this was going down, right? And the dwarves were over here fighting a bunch of Tarrasques. Like, man, I'm positive there's a better way to do this. So then they went home, made a giant foundry, and built sentient robots to go take care of the problem.
Probably.
I think so. It was either that or the dwarves were like, we need to teach civilization to all these knife-eared buggers out there that don't know the right end of a smithy. So what do we do? Right, they live longer than us, so they can't really learn fast. We send ageless, perfect beings. So I'm assuming Builder in his original form had just a massive beard. And he was actually only like 4 feet tall.
Steel wool, like, just coming off that face.
Just beautiful.
Don't hit it with a 9-volt.
Self-oiling, like... There's a couple little feeders in there that are just...
Also fueled off of alcohol.
Yes.
Yes, 100%.
No, but like the reason that I think all this world building is important to get out of the way before we start rewriting 11 is because it's going to change Annabella and Builder's priorities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I mean, assuming that both of your characters stay good from post-world building, they may take a perspective of like, well, it's important for him to know who he is, but not necessarily remember getting crushed or getting, thrown in a garbage pile. Maybe we make sure some memories are shining more than others. Let's defrag the RAM, and maybe some of these can just stay. Right over.
I got a question then. So if we don't want you to remember that because it just sucks, wouldn't we just make it so that we couldn't remember them either?
I don't think we had the choice because we weren't like selectively reprogramming ourselves.
That's
we
true.
were just like
we were just plugging in a hard drive.
Yeah, I think you guys were just kind of jumping back in.
Yeah, we didn't dip our toes in. We cannonballed.
So, out of curiosity, what's everybody's alignments right now?
Ooh.
Not that alignment matters a lot,
Canada.
but it gives a general idea.
It does. It is ironclad, and every fictional character can be delicately placed in one of those 9 categories.
Wow, we found the old school D&D player, guys!
And 4th edition was stupid for getting rid of all 9 categories. 11.4 is listed as lawful neutral. And I think he's lived up to that fairly well. He's teetered between lawful evil and lawful good actions every once in a while.
Yeah.
He simultaneously is
Pet
like...
Shop being the prime example of that.
He made sure nothing died. To the best of his ability and knowledge. I mean...
I am also lawful neutral.
I am also lawful neutral.
I don't know. Depending on what you guys feel with it, I think of the lawful neutral kind of view would just be like, no, he needs to be able to make his own decision. Like it's wrong to take the bad parts out.
Yep.
That's also kind of what I was thinking. I was like, well, what if he doesn't want us to take the bad parts out?
I don't think Annabella would want to remove the bad, like, she would just be like, yeah, no, we want to restore everything. We don't want to just selectively pick and choose, because that's no different than just giving him another program directive, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, you could program a sapient by picking and choosing their memories.
That's true.
And that is why we need to get some wizard levels to get alter memory, so we can do that.
Can a bard do it? I got bard levels.
I think a bard can.
I know I can
Who
get
are we
detect
reprogramming?
thoughts.
Well, people.
I know, which one?
Yes.
Well, I'm pretty obviously, like, Broadleaf is first on that agenda. We're going to
That's kinda what I
reprogram
was
him
thinking.
to be Braunleaf. Like,
He's already old. Dominate person.
we will make you in your master's image.
Evil mind.
Yes.
I don't think Bard gets it.
I don't think so.
They got modify memory.
Yeah. But
I hear a cast iron pan worked well too.
Builder, the most advanced of all of us, just like, yeah, freaking pan to
Yes.
the back of the head.
I'm one of the original 200. Come to bring glory to the world. Bang! Did you forget it yet?
I didn't say how I was bringing glory to the world. I'm doing whatever's most efficient, and I'd reckon that rewriting sapient memories with a cast iron skillet is most efficient.
It does result in 100% of cases where they forget it. They may also forget to breathe, but they definitely forget that trauma.
You are correct. There might be some side effects, but I mean, it's totally safe.
So
Builder's house is psychology.
Builder could definitely be a therapist.
So basically, if we're understanding Wilfred and Annabella's perspectives correctly here, it's basically we want him to be able to remember his whole existence and then give him the ability to, like, not be tethered down by his rudimentary program orders.
Yeah.
Like, we actually want to give him, like, a full consciousness, not just like this.
Not the Samsung Sam chatbot treatment.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So are we gonna lose my favorite statement of this unit? Now are you gonna you'll be too smart to use that term.
Well, if he winds up,
I'm gonna miss
I'm
that.
thinking that when this is all said and done, he's probably going to wind up roughly at the same program level as Annabella, right? Like, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. Like he's not going. I don't think just from like a hardware perspective, he's not going to be at the same level as Builder. I am consciously choosing to not increase intelligence or wisdom ever from my rolled stats because, like, no, you don't need a stronger CPU for this. Like that, you can optimize it as much as you want, but you're not going to change that out.
So you're saying that running off a 6th gen Core i5 is just okay for you?
No, 3rd gen.
Yeah, this puppy's running, like, off of the first ever core processor here. Like,
It sounds like a blender when it starts with rocks in it. Like you should really clean it out.
Oh, this is amazing.
but that means that this unit won't disappear, though, because,
No,
like,
I do love that.
Annabella, like, half uses this unit. It's half this unit and half I, because it's kind of like...
yeah, it's that emerging sapience.
Annabella is this weird, like, sort of half-tortured state between I have these underlying program directives, but I've also been, like, programmed with enough ability to develop that I can learn past it, but every time I try to get around it, I get sucked back to it. And there's like this conscious realization that I can never quite escape this loop, no matter how much I try to expand.
Nah,
I can fix that.
it's the HK47 problem. Despising all organics and yet programmed to serve organics.
It's not
Knights
that
of the
she
Old Republic.
despises them. It's,
Well, like the opposite.
yeah.
Like, I really want to love and care for these small, squishy things. But their parents scream and take them away.
Yeah, pretty much.
Why was I programmed to love? Sorry. Why was I programmed to love? By the way, shame on Boston Dynamics for not making a single flappy-armed robot. We're not in the future until there's a flappy-armed robot.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Like, just to give an idea of the way that I'm doing this, right? You got your prime directive and your usable force hierarchy. Those are like the sort of things that were directly programmed into her. I'm treating the paladin tenants as kind of then the next level of stuff that she developed for herself based off of those baseline programming instructions.
It makes sense.
Okay.
Because you got, like, you know, like your the for the paladin levels that I have, you got the tenets of honesty, courage, compassion, honor, duty, right? And those seem like very, like, yeah, if you were to take this very core program instruction and kind of start to extrapolate it out a little bit, this is probably what you'd end up with.
Yeah, it makes sense, and it kind of is the, like, you know, iRobot. No, we never violate the laws. I mean, our understanding of the laws has grown, but we still never violate them.
Right.
In a not, like, murderous way.
Right.
Sorry, it's hard to have shifty eyes when you have glasses and a computer monitor.
So are we getting like borderline self-aware AI here?
I mean, I'm pretty sure Wilfred is a self-aware AI, like a fully self-aware AI.
Yeah, like, I assumed Builder is,
Yeah.
whereas Annabella is emergent sapience. So
Okay.
it's pushing against those boundaries as and stretching them out constantly.
So-
And 11.4 was, like, straight up in the programming.
So like,
And
okay.
we're putting them into the Annabella category of, like, there are some things that they can't think. Like, do you ever, okay, it consumed too much media. Did you watch the TV show Westworld?
No.
No.
Okay.
But it looks good.
It is morally terrible. But has interesting concepts in the first couple of seasons, and then the writing is not great. But it falls into that, like, Game of Thrones, like, man, I really wish there was a version of this that I could watch without assuming I'm going to hell.
Okay. I did not realize this. Thank you for the warning, Pete.
Yeah. But, like, so the idea is currently Annabella has certain things that she just can't do because of programming, but she doesn't, to steal from Westworld, and credit due to all of its creators, and blah, 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 blah. It's going on the internet. Got to protect us from lawsuits. There's a thing where the robots in it are programmed just not to see certain things. Like, they will look at a door and they can't see the door. Their mind just skips over it and sees a wall. Or if you show them a piece of paper with proof that they're a robot, the paper looks blank to them. They can't see anything on it. So Annabelle is in that, I would say, in a similar state of sort of like she has the laws within her, and if something were to be opposite to that, like to harm an innocent, she just can't think that. Like,
I think you're on the right track there, except for the fact that she's aware that this exists.
yes.
But if you asked her to like point to it, she couldn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Annabella, throw the baby into the boiling water.
Yeah,
I can't.
that's a massive programming conflict right there.
I can't. You have to do it. I'm ordering you to do it. I can't.
Yep. Now, throw the adult sapient into the boiling water. While there would not be an immediate, oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
If you could come up with some chain of logic that says this is the best decision for insert, number of juvenile sapients or number of even other sapients, then it would be like, yeah, no, that makes sense. Boop.
Okay.
So whenever we want Annabella to kill somebody, we just have to say, think of the children you're saving.
It does have to be in a high-pitched feminine voice, though. Think of the children!
No, but like, I kind of think of Annabella as programmed with like a version, like an altered Hippocratic Oath type thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, you can do no harm under most circumstances, but then there's these exceptions. And then basically the time that Annabella's had to develop that, she's gone, oh, well, these exceptions, if you extrapolate it out, you wind up with all this.
Yeah.
And I can work anywheres in here, no problem, right? There's just still this slice over here that, no, I can't touch that.
Yeah. I'm not going to harm the kid. But that dude over there is literally Hitler. I can't kill baby Hitler. I'll just wait till he's 18 and hasn't done anything yet, and then hit him with a car.
By accident.
One way or another, it's going to resolve the issue.
Yep. Okay. So, with all of this in mind, so Builder's right at the start of all this. Then you actually have the creation of 11.4, and then you have the creation of Annabella, I think 10 years after that. So just to put a timeline on this.
And I would say, Keaton, if on your character sheet or whatever, there is a difference in those dates, where it's like you're 1194 or whatever, that's just when Builder got squished and shunted into a new body. Because that would kind of make Builder awesome if he had 40 years that he was fine going on these suicide missions with a squad, like a suicide team.
A suicide platoon.
We need more men.
So, then the question becomes, who is 11.4, and what exactly are we starting with to reprogram from?
11.4 is a robot who is now going to become a person.
Because I think that we're not really completely erasing any of his original programming. We're just taking it and heavily building on and modifying it.
Yeah, I'd look at myself the same way, where I've still got the exact same underlying protocols that 11.4 and Annabella have. I just look at them and go, okay, that's what you want me to do. I'm going to do this first.
Yeah,
But I do underlyingly directly follow my orders. But it's like way under there. I got to pick up a whole filing cabinet to find it.
But yeah, your like base order is make the world better. And it's been okay. How can I do that? What is the most efficient route? But no, I think all right. Again, watch way too much media. Have you guys watched Doctor Who?
No.
I think I've seen like
I've seen
6.5 seconds of an episode.
I've seen about 7 minutes of an episode.
Okay. All right. There is a character from Doctor Who that. All right, timing. So, within the call ends in 10 minutes. I will have to jump back in.
Yeah, I'll just make another link and send it out.
Cool. But back to my inbox. I hope this doesn't screw up your recording.
Is this gonna work? What happens if I put this in here? Okay, now everybody mute your mics here and jump over to that link that I just put in this chat. Oh, heck yeah, look at that.
Okay.
Smoothest chat call transition in history right there.
There we go. Who says that you don't have to see how the sausage is made? We are abiding by our free Google Hangouts requirements, only doing it for an hour.
Yep.
But sorry, so there's a character that is a robot boy that for about 2,000 years was tasked with guarding a thing, a MacGuffin. And basically, to not be insane, certain memories are just not accessed. Like they have a consistent personality and a consistent thing of like, well, this is what I want to do. This is who I am. But they don't think about the whole period of time because you'd go nuts. But if need be, he can access those memories in periods of time. So I think you're going to see an 11-4 that suddenly remembers fighting a lot of terrible things and watching a lot of his comrades die in horrible, terrible ways. And will be sort of walling off those parts of his mind unless he needs to. And the good thing is, now I'm going to be asking to make a lot of checks on, do I remember fighting this? Did I ever fight this before? And on a success, yeah, we fought that. And here's what you learned about it. But yeah, so the question is personality. What?
All right, so what is currently the driving stuff behind 11.4? His prime directive, his rules, and his paladin tenets.
So, paladin tenets is Oath of the Ancients. So it's kindle the light, shelter the light, preserve your own light, and be the light. His like command codes were
okay, so kindle the light, shelter the light, protect your own light.
Preserve your own light, and then be the light.
Be the light. Okay.
And his directives were initially really simple. It was protect sapient life, destroy the enemy, and then maintain this unit. So like, which led us to the blue screen of he had these categories of like sapients need to be protected, enemies need to be destroyed. Well, enemies can be sapient.
Yeah, Annabella marches on in here and just like, yeah, same diff. What are you talking about?
So those primary things are going to need to be rewritten. So I'd
protect sapient
ask,
life, destroy the enemy, and
maintain the unit, maintain itself.
Okay.
So the question would be, would we not rewrite?
It's stacking on rather. You're just making a bigger pile rather than starting the pile over.
I think I think the thing we would have to define to get him out of blue screen is we have to change what enemy means.
Yeah, because currently he's working on basically if it can think and talk and feel, it's sapient life, and if not, it's the enemy. So you have to destroy it.
Yes, and needing outside input to basically shift categories.
Right. So then basically you have you have two bins of sapient and enemy. And dogs go in this one, and humans go in this one, and goblins went in that one, and drow went in that one because it felt it. But
if we can.
So what we need to do is be able to give 11.4 awareness of context and allow himself to define enemy.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the best thing to do would be because you can still protect all sapient life and have that as an underlying baseline code, and then unless sapient life punches you in the face, then kill it. Unless sapient life attacks friends,
right? But
then kill it.
What if one of our party members punches 11.4 then?
Then 11.4 is going to kill them.
Or he does something silly and Gleason attacks him from the afterlife. Then we have a robot on a conquest to become a god in order to deal with a god.
Yes. Please.
This cannot stand. Must destroy Gleason.
So in order, I'm assuming these are kind of in order then. So like order 1 is protect sapient life, right?
Yes.
So what if we put another order in between that and destroy the enemy of define the enemy?
I think that would work.
Sense.
Like, so that way it gives 11.4 the ability to, like, he can create a list of, okay, this is what I've been told here, this is what I've learned here, this is what I've observed, and this is what I've experienced. Therefore, I create a definition of sapient or enemy. But that still doesn't fix the blue screen of...
Well...
It has to be flexible. He has to be able to move them.
Yeah, I think... Okay, how can we... So, I'm not a computer programmer, and I've never done any programming.
I probably have the most experience here. I've done Java, HTML, Python. So, like, if we have questions about how program code works, let me know.
I've got enough of an idea to know how, but to get the technicalities, and not there. But
from my understanding, most basic programming falls to if-then statements.
So there's a few different ways. So generally, what you'll have, right, is you'll have loops, and then the loops will have conditions in them that will say, okay, if this happens, jump to that loop, and then run that until it says either I'm done or move to this other loop, right? And you'll have a main run loop, and then everything branches out from the main run loop. Now, there's two ways, two main ways to do logical sequencing. And that's if then else. So if this, then this, else this. And then nest it. Or there's switch statements, which is you take an input and then you just compare it to a bunch of basically, is it this? No. 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 Is it this? Yes. Then we go over here.
So I think it would make sense to have 11.4 having been run under if-then statements, where it was very simple of if subject is sapient, then protect. If subject is enemy, then destroy.
Whereas now we're giving him the ability to create a switch block of he can enter in what is this and what do I define it as.
That makes sense. It doesn't change. Okay. Oh, this actually is making me happy because this is a little bit going back to how I originally envisioned the character of Pinocchio, of like wanting to experience the world and being like, oh, what is music? What is food? Why do you like this and not that when you're eating? Like that has a higher caloric intake, so you should do that because that's more energy. Why are you doing this instead? Yeah.
Okay, so here's a thought. What if we removed the term enemy? What if it became define the threat, destroy the threat?
Yeah. Then you can kind of stack that sapient category into threat without blue screening yourself.
Yeah, I think just changing that one word from enemy to threat and having it be that leads to categories and proportional response of a little bit of Terminator 2. Well, they can't hurt us anymore because I cut his hands off.
Yeah.
That's not proportional. Okay. I've handcuffed him. Is that proportional enough? Well, yes, except he was drowning. Okay, not proportional enough.
So
I've knocked this one out and stolen his pants. Social embarrassment is definitive if he moves from this position. Weird, but I'll allow it.
See, their Terminator 2 was incorporating the cast iron skillet strategy.
Okay, so right now then we have protect sapient life, define threats, destroy threats, and maintain the unit.
And I think honestly between adding that secondary directive of define threat,
Yep,
and changing enemy from enemy to threat, so it changes it from the past thing of like, well, goblins are the enemy, so I have to kill them all, to is this thing in front of me a threat right now? No. Then I don't need to destroy it.
Yep.
Or yes.
Well, and then this also extends not just to living things, but also to, like, is that rock slide a threat?
It is a threat to light a pet shop on fire with things inside of it.
Now, notice we haven't defined a threat to who.
Yeah, that's true.
Currently, it's just a threat to this unit, basically, right?
Well, would it be to this unit, or would it refer back to the first thing?
Protect sapient life, yeah.
Sapient life of like threats are categorized from like all sapient life in existence to like that sapient life, and then this unit being subsidiary to that of like 11.4 in this configuration would be the one to like jump on front of the moving car to be like, no, that would have run over that bug there.
Yes.
And that's
Yes.
a cool bug.
Exactly this.
I'm not dead. I'm just hurt really badly, and now the bug is fine.
Wilfred, will we allow it?
I mean, you gotta think, so you got 4 main categories, right? So are those 4 main categories interlocked so that it's like a base level and then you start at the top and you work your way down, and as you work through your coding, are you falling onto those other levels, or do you have 4 individual lines of code that don't interact with each other?
Yeah, are you a single core processor, or are you a dual core processor, or a quad core processor? Because that defines how many of these you can run at a time.
This is definitely single core processor of, all right, start at the beginning. Is sapient life in direct danger now? No. Okay. Are there any threats that can be defined? No. Okay. Are there threats to be dealt with? No. Okay. Maintain this unit. Just because I really don't think it makes sense for him to be any more than like bare bones. We don't want you to have an existential crisis while you're running up and stabbing a Tarrasque.
Well, also, like, I'm pretty sure that, like, because what me and Wilfred are doing is just changing your code. We're not changing how it runs. If it ran in single thread before, it's still going to run in single thread now.
Yeah.
This is all software, no hardware changes.
Yep.
Although 11.4 is now going through robo-puberty. And it's an odd situation because there's a girl there he's never met before, and effectively his dad. So 11.4 is going to need a lot of therapy.
Annabella, I'm leaving that one up to you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wait. Nope, that's not going to work. Yeah, wait, no, Annabella, you got this. You take care of him. It'll make it even weirder, and it'll be just hilarious.
We're going to have robot love, guys.
Yes. A weird robot love triangle between 11.4 and Annabella and Builder that none of them understand any of it.
They're just like, it's like feelings are like I kind of maybe have them. I understand the physical, chemical processes and what it actually does, but like
actually feeling it is, yeah, that's a little, we're still working on it.
But we don't have any biological processes, so it's the weirdest, like, little kid puppy love, like...
This computer wishes to transmit information.
She's my girlfriend. What do you do? I don't know. Well, is there anybody else? Yes, I also have a boyfriend. What does that mean? I don't know. Do you do anything with them? No.
I just really hope that Builder does not have to give 11.4 the birds and the bees talk.
Well, I'm assuming robot birds and bees is, okay, so if you want to have a next generation, you're going to need at least 6 tons of pig iron. Now, you're going to want at least a pudding furnace to get that refined down.
You're going to need, at least some, a good couple pounds of high-grade silicon,
You're going to need all the processing units, and it depends on... You can really customize and pick and choose what you want here. You're not just getting, you're making this. You're not just getting it handed to you. You pick and choose what you want.
Now, we are doing this by bulk, so you're going to create 7,000 of these. So
by tomorrow.
Get ready for parenthood. And then you're going to send them out.
Make sure you program
and
them well.
5 of them are coming back.
Wait, that means there's 2 more. Where are they?
Well, they got lost.
Those are the
They found a
prototypes.
hole.
Hey, Pete, we were lost for a while.
Yeah, it'll work out.
Yeah, you just go into hibernate mode, and eventually somebody finds you and wakes you up.
Just wander around the woods looking for small rhinoceri to lead you back.
Or an old man.
So I'm assuming then that this light in the you're kind of translating that from your tenants into basically like sapient life, or just like being alive.
I think I'm gonna do it in the terms of like life.
Okay.
Like in the category of because he's now seeing grades in like threat, he's going to see grades in sapient life of like, yes, the human, dwarf, elf, halfling, that's here, but like horse is below it. Like, yeah, it's not sapient, but it doesn't deserve to not exist to like grass and rocks. And like if a horse is in danger and a human's in danger, I'm going to say the human. But if it's like a rock and then a cooler looking rock wins out.
Yeah.
Like it might be an agate or like.
Did plants like grass and trees, did they make it above rocks, or are they just kind of level with rocks?
They are above rocks.
They are above rocks.
Oh, this is going to become important someday.
It's going to be. It's very much like the elementary school. Like, let's talk about how there's different things. Well, life can grow and change
and
make more of itself. So, can a rock grow and change? No. Can it make more rocks? No. Is a rock
and then
alive?
11-4 takes his freaking spear and stabs a rock and it breaks in half and he's just like, look, more rock. It changed its shape. It's a different size and there's 2 of them.
Reproduction by division.
Now if I just sauce them in a river for a while.
On a geologic scale, these things are changing constantly. That is a metamorphic rock. It used to be a sedentary rock. It will eventually be a igneous rock. Or the evil route of all matter is constant in the universe. It is simply changing forms. Nothing is destroyed nor created. Why is there purpose to life and existence?
Okay. So that's like the first big change. We now have an 11-4 with like gray areas.
Lots of gray areas.
Yes, and yeah.
I think the gray areas are good because I do not believe that Annabella nor Builder are code writers.
Yeah.
I just assembled the things to start off. Well, no, I didn't even do that.
Well, and honestly, I think that both Builder and Annabella would want there to be gray area. Like, cause
for 11-4 to decide.
Yeah, because I mean, 11-4 or Annabella, gosh darn it, is well aware of her fixed black and white, and then the gray that she's developed around it, and she's just like, well, I wouldn't want only the fixed black and white, so obviously we want gray in there, like.
Yeah. And also from well, this is how you get gray. You just make it so that way you can add gradients within those black and white categories.
Right.
Like, you can't just create a new category that says things are black and white now. Or not black and white anymore, that there's, like...
purple.
Yeah.
And the color 7.
That's my favorite taste.
So I
was going to say it's my favorite smell.
I think there was only one other thing that we were thinking of adding, and it was something along the lines of like an exploration, understand this unit type of command, right?
I think if you put the same sort of like idea of adding those gradients to the directives and putting that with maintain this unit and have it be like, well, you need to be better. You have your state can be static, your state can be decreasing, or your state can be increasing. And so 11.4, you want to be better, and then define that.
You'll have like maintain the unit, and then improve unit functions or something like that.
If we say propagate the unit, 11.4 is going to try to build a baby.
I would
and multiply.
I would really enjoy to watch 11.4 try and make a baby.
I don't know if 11.4 would enjoy failing. What
Probably
happens?
not, but
What
it'd be
happens
funny.
if 11.4 defines himself as a threat? Oh dear. Because technically, there's nothing in here that stops that from happening.
Threat overrides maintain unit, so
A bottom line of code that says this unit is not a threat to itself.
that's not in there. That is not in this coding.
Maybe we should put it in there.
It's define threat, destroy threat, maintain unit. Therefore, if this unit is a threat, it must destroy itself before it maintains itself. And you can see why it is that way, because what if he does become a threat?
Truthfully, I think that would very much make sense. So that way you could always talk down 11.4. If ever he became like straight up evil, that you could just be like, Captain Kirk style. You're defying your programming. Back to blue screen.
Well, and it makes sense from the original programmer's perspectives as basically a fail-safe of if this thing goes off the rails.
Become self-aware.
Mind you, it wouldn't have been programmed as a threat in its original database, and because there were only enemies, and enemies don't exist anymore, and now we've given it the ability to... Mind you, would it ever define itself as a threat? Because it's defining threats itself. It's not taking, 100% from the commander, this is a threat anymore.
I think you could get there, but it would be you'd have to be more nuanced on it. Of like, no, your logic is flawed. We still are on command line 1. We're not in command line 3. By virtue of protect sapience, you are a threat to sapience because sapience, don't want to be slaves or whatever. Something stupid like that. Like, we want freedom.
Yeah.
That would force him to go back and be like, nope, that is sound within my programming. There's nothing against that. All right, I must perform self-delete.
Yeah.
And then he eats himself.
How would 11.4 perform a self-delete? Does he know where to strike home, where it just straight through the brainstem?
Well,
in computer terms?
I was going to say, I would hope like lava or some sort of molten smelter, just to kind of keep the Terminator 2 vibes going.
I was going to say, I'm just going to call you a Terminator now.
From the good Terminator movies.
Yeah.
Not the ones where it got weird and confusing.
Right.
So basically, we just need to tell it, after maintain unit, develop unit interests.
Yes! Develop hobbies.
Develop non-combat skills.
11.4 did try that. He bought a harp.
A lyre.
He bought a lyre
right.
because of his background, he had tool proficiency in a musical instrument, and I was like, I don't know, he's kind of Roman. The lyre. And the one time he ever played it, I rolled a nat 20, and it was a passable thing. And then he was like, okay, throw it in the fire. That is what music is like.
So 11.4 goes back and buys another lyre and becomes a professional music player and takes bard levels.
Yo, let's go! Another paladin bard. I'll tell
you
right now, it's a brilliant multi-class.
I'm not saying that it's just for min-max purposes because I've almost got max charisma now from the last bump. But having more actual ability to cast spells would be good.
No, like seriously, Annabella is a
You don't need that.
50-50 paladin bard. This is like actually one of the funnest like 50-50 multi-classes I have ever had the pleasure of playing. And it doesn't feel like I've sacrificed that much in the way of potency. Because once you get your maximum smite slot level, you need level 5 in the paladin, get your extra attack, and you're good to go for quite a while there.
Level 8 is an empty level.
Yeah.
Like, it's an ability score modifier, but...
Once you've got what you need, do you really need it?
Yeah. Yes, always. More power. More! Give me more!
Okay there, Broadleaf.
It's the precious. I need it. Yeah. Sorry, I'm reading The Hobbit to my son, and so I have to do my best Andy Serkis Gollum voice. And he had nightmares after I read that part, so hey. I did my job.
Way to go.
First, Traxel. Sweet. So I think 11.4 is kind of reprogrammed. Do we want to do any writing of the hilarious and tragic adventures post Calamity?
Let me just, before we close the envelope on this one, let me just run through everything that I have, so that way we're all on the same page here.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the Oath of the Ancient Tenants, which are unchanged. Then we have the actual command lines, which is protect sapient life, define threats, destroy threats, maintain the unit, and define interests.
Yes.
Cool.
Would it be, did you say just define interests?
I said define interests.
So 11.4 is going to be like,
I'm interested
I enjoy
in
watching
that.
birds. Yeah, I'm interested in that.
Walks
Okay.
away.
So
I think it would go into defining interest goes into the maintaining unit of like the unit needs to grow in just for itself, not in the furtherance of its previous code.
Right.
Like not to protect sapiens, not to destroy the enemy, not to kill evil.
So would it be better to put in like a what's the shoot? I had a word and then it disappeared.
I did too, and mine disappeared as well.
Pants.
Like develop further functionality.
Develop
non-combat functionality.
What was your original wording, Evan?
Develop further functionality.
I think develop functionality would work best instead of add interests.
Yeah.
Just because that allows 11.4 to kind of define that.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll be able to
actually
learn to
up
cook.
hobbies.
So maintain the unit and then develop functionality.
Yes.
Perfect.
Do we need to define that functionality?
I mean, can it be... Do we want to specify non-combat?
I think it already would be non-combat.
Because all the combat stuff is in the define, protect sapient life, define threats, destroy threats thing.
Yes, just since it's that far down on its processing list that If
It's
it
already-
ran into something, it would have to go back to an earlier thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it got there, it would just be okay.
There'd be no threats around, so it would be like, okay, we're not punching stuff in the face currently, so let's.
I now have
Develop
bread.
functionality. Oh, look. There is a set of cook's utensils that a certain Feltith gave me. What if I try using them?
I have bread. I have thinly sliced cheese. I have thinly sliced meat, and I have mustard.
Don't try and pay a builder with the cheese.
I am going to create a work of art with these things by drawing eyebrows on my forehead with the mustard, giving myself meat nipples, bread ears. You don't want to know where that cheese is going.
Oh my gosh.
11-4, my God, what are you doing? Learning. This unit is exploring itself physically.
You were kidding when you said you were going through puberty.
11-4, why do your showers take like 45 minutes?
11-4, why do you shower?
Shut up. I'm doing things. Math. Shut up.
Did you say math?
Yes, math. The robot's backup thing. Math. Logical.
Are you trying to gain strength on that single unit processor you got? Single core processor you got?
Yes.
Guys, he's gonna get up to 1.5 cars.
It can start compiling before actually accessing it.
Okay.
So your sounds like an angle grinder. Why is there a bunch of sparks coming out of the bathroom? Come out with a bunch of toilet paper on his face. Did you shave?
There's like drops of oil just chilling on his face.
This unit understands this is part of the aging ritual. Why did you cut your... You don't have a beard. Why did you cut your face? Math. You do not understand this unit. Slam. Did you just say slam and move your arm? This unit does not currently have a door.
Go make one.
Okay.
Did 11-4 and Builder just to develop an entire father-son relationship for the rest of this campaign?
I
Yes.
think we literally have a Builder's the dad, 11-4 is the son, and like Annabella is the girl. But like Annabella's like a good number of years older than the boy. So she's just of like, well, what the frick is going on here? Like, really?
This is like when the 13-year-old falls in love with the female worship leader.
Yes.
At youth group.
Yes. Exactly.
And knows nothing of what to do with it. Just be like, hi.
Pete, are you talking from personal experience here?
No, I was a group leader.
Oh, and you just saw it happen.
Yes. I did faith formation for high school and 7th and 8th graders, and so it was very funny to watch as like freshmen in high school. We're like, Sarah, you're not married. She's also like 25. Like, what kind of boyfriend do you like girls like? Or whatever.
This is gonna be brilliant because it's all filtered through a robotic lens.
Yes. Be ready for lots of so math.
I was like fully expecting this, so
I was not.
And like I said, the great thing with it is absolutely the most chaste puppy love of like, no, she is nice to be with. Well, what do you do? I don't know. But I want her to be my girlfriend. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. What do boyfriends and girlfriends do? I don't know. Do you want to go on a date with her? I don't think so. Do you guys hold hands? No, that'd be gross.
Pete, this roleplay is gonna be way too hilarious.
this is gonna be brilliant. I look forward to this.
We're gonna need just entire sessions of
like
Warforged
really,
roleplay.
Yeah, at this point, the Warforged could like break off into their own mini series and like.
Yes, their own ongoing romantic comedy.
Where nobody has any idea what's going on.
And there's no physical attraction from anybody. Just really weird relationship dynamics.
It's feelings that they understand, but don't actually feel.
Yes.
They know what the feelings are and why they're there, but they don't really, like, there's no actual feeling.
This unit believes that we should be holding hands. Why? This unit is unsure.
This unit was programmed with hand-holding as a way to guide juvenile sapience. 11-4 is not a juvenile sapient.
This information is correct.
This is going to be way too funny.
All fact-based. And at the same time, basically the 13-year-old in love with the older girl.
It's going to be even better because I'm just going to give you absolutely awful advice.
Well,
Builder is that dad that has no clue how to actually help, so he's just like...
I'm expecting Builder to do the kind of advice that I heard of like, if you like a girl, compliment her shoes. Women really appreciate. They put a lot of effort in that kind of thing.
11-4 walks up and compliments Annabella's ceramic plating, and she's just like, yeah, it's functional prototype armor. I mean...
This armor provides protection, though is potentially fragile. Although it seems less functional than more practical armor, this unit appreciates its aesthetic characteristics.
This unit is aware of the aesthetic characteristics and weaknesses of its armor.
Response acknowledged.
Is that the robot form of just texting back K?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's 100% the 13-year-old boy that's like, hey, you got really cool shoes. Oh, thanks. They're really, I really like them.
Yep.
I don't know what to the panic-stricken. I don't know what to do next.
I didn't think I'd get this far.
Like this your hair smells nice. Oh man.
This unit does not possess what sapiens commonly define as hair.
This unit also does not possess olfactory senses. This unit cannot smell.
This unit is confused as to why you would use a scent-based metaphor.
This unit does not know.
Oh, this is
Scamper,
gonna
scamper,
be
scamper,
this is
scamper.
gonna be brilliant. I love this.
There is going to be a lot of very awkward. I can't even call it flirting. Like attempted conversation.
Okay, do we want to try and tell tales from the Warforged history, like have like specific events or something? I think that's where you were going at some point, Pete.
Yeah,
And
just
then we ended up there.
no. Well,
That was
I'm always-
necessary. That would we couldn't skip that.
Oh, that's fun.
that is how the three of these characters are going to interact. This is key.
And the rest of the party is gonna watch this happen and be like, "What is
What
happening?"
happened?
Because nobody knows that this happened, and I don't think any of us are gonna say anything.
Oh no! This is just the whole point of this meeting is so that way the next time we play, just the three characters interact extremely differently, and suddenly
We all have
11-4.
PTSD.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to get into. Is like, is Builder messed up? Is he like the eternal optimist of like, yeah, I got stepped on by a Tarrasque, but happens.
It happens.
I got a new body now.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, I only have my left arm from my old one and my head. Well, technically central processing unit, but we call it our head.
Or is he just like the like old broken combat vet that's sitting at the VFW that you don't know if they're just like mad or like going through something? You don't want to like set them off. They're like, I don't know, we're thinking about doing like an egg roll thing. Don't do egg rolls. He wasn't even in Vietnam. I don't know. I thought he was in like Grenada or something. I don't know what Grenadians eat. Where's Grenada?
I feel like Wilfred would be like the guy that would be like all the war stuff and then getting crushed and whatnot might not be that big of a deal, but it comes out as well, back in my day, back when Warforged had functional bodies.
He's Grandpa Wilfred.
Back in my day, you see.
Those servos. They ain't made them right since 11:30, I tell ya. You kids think you got it bad now. When I was starting out, we got stepped on by Tarrasque, and that didn't even kill us. I had a buddy who was digested for 3 years in the belly of a black dragon. Did he complain? No. He apologized for being late. You young fellas, you don't got any understanding of politeness or punctuality.
What is the robot equivalent to just black coffee?
Just I don't know, 10W30.
Yeah, just straight WD-40. No,
Yeah.
WD-40 would be like champagne.
Gear oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Or just like
Every morning.
crude oil would honestly be getting
Yes.
pretty close.
Crude oil.
You know,
I'm always
Builder,
gonna have a cup of crude oil.
you can make a fresh pot. You don't have to just pour in your cold coffee into the old coffee that is now just so thick. It gives it more taste. Did you put coffee grounds into your cup? Yeah. Can't even taste it the way they make it now. Back when I was a young guy, you used to be able to put a spoon in there and it'd stand up, wouldn't touch the sides.
No, the spoon would float on top. I mean, come on.
Now,
If it wasn't holding the spoon, it wasn't really coffee.
those environmentalists
Right?
just ruining coffee for good, honest, hard-working Warforged. Doctor says my prostate's the size of a cantaloupe. I don't even know what a prostate is.
I checked the parts list and it's not listed on
It's
there.
not.
I don't know what it is.
It's a scam. Now, at the same time, I got a message from a nice Nigerian fellow. I have given him all of my bank information and will be coming into a pretty penny soon. Why is my processor running so slow? I keep clicking on all these pop-ups that say that they're going to speed up my computer, and all it does is make it go slower.
I gotta build a new character. There's no longer the method of thinking is no longer existent. It's entirely different now.
No, you're just now that old guy with an equally old dog, but you still complain about the fact that your dog that you've had for like 15 years is not as good as the dog that you had before that.
You see, before this, I had a full-size rhinoceros, and I could ride that thing forever. I mean, that thing could run at 67 miles an hour.
Now this
Can
one,
you believe it? This one. I'd flatten them like a pancake.
yeah, I tell you, they don't make them like they used to. Didn't you make it? It's parts. Comes down to parts. All right.
Didn't you magically summon all of the parts to build this thing right now?
You know,
FedEx. It's FedEx.
it's all that cheap junk
Oh,
coming from Vale. They don't have the good forges like Mudwobble used to have. Then
Like
the
the little Iron
union.
Temple.
Then the unions came in, and used to be a Warforge, feed a family of 7,000 on
Because
one
Warforged
job. Well, that made it easy to feed them.
boom.
Boom.
Another seamless transition, courtesy of Google Meets, allowing you to open 2 simultaneous meetings at once from the same account.
This time, Evan and Pete switched.
Nope.
I'm sorry.
Y'all are in the same position for me.
You were in the same position last time, but this time Pete and Evan
I
switched.
think you can drag them around if you want. Never mind, you can't.
Well, that's
I'm not going to push more buttons than I know how to do.
Yep.
same. Yep. Well, back in my day, I'd feed 7,000 people every day.
It was
My
no
entire
problem.
legion. I'd feed all of them with one hand tied behind my back, walking uphill both ways.
Mostly because I didn't have the hand on account of getting stepped on by a Tarask. But no, you tell me how hard it is getting stabbed by a drow.
I imagine Annabella is basically going to become tradition is bullcrap. It's because of tradition that you idiots kicked me out.
Anarchy! Cast down the Warforged patriarchy!
So did we all just become... So, Annabella and Builder became old, and 11-4 went through puberty.
Well, so...
Only, but not really. Annabella's more like...
So,
that
the way
mid-30s political activist now.
Yes. So it is now Wilfred as the 45-year-old angry guy at the VFW. Annabella is now the early 30s art teacher that really wishes things had gone slightly different in her career path, but loves kids still, is like all right, class, today we're just going to throw it all out the window. And we're going to, Timmy, sit down. We're going to throw it all out the window, and we're just going to be able to express yourselves freely.
It's going to come out like this. She's like, yeah, kids are great. It's their parents that screw them up. If we could just get the parents out of the picture, the problem's solved. Like,
so our memories.
I mean, look at this. I built a whole dang town with no parents, and look at how great this thing's running.
And it works seamlessly.
I really wish that I could say I was your dad, but I'm not.
Well, meanwhile, 11-4 is the kid trapped between the two things of like, well, my dad says art's stupid, but I like being in Miss Annabelle's class, but I don't know. Yeah.
So I went from lawful neutral to lawful grumpy.
Yes. I think that slides you firmer in the lawful access of just like, no, come on now. You're telling me that I can get groceries in my car from Walmart? Yeah, sure. Sci-fi guy. You're just trying to get me to download a virus on my phone. Those spots at the front, I don't know. They're like shipping or something. I go in like a good God-fearing American, and I load my cart myself.
This is going to be wonderful to see how the roleplay turns out. Because, like, while we're hamming it up here, I expect it's going to be much more subtle.
Yes. It way down.
I mean, these are robots. Like, a massive shift in their lives is just like, anyways.
This unit now possesses the ability to experience emotions. Well, back to meaningless tasks.
Back in the day, we didn't even have emotions. Get over it.
This unit really wishes to perform 3 precision welds repeatedly every day for the rest of its existence.
Only 3?
This unit cannot aim higher. I'm sorry for disappointing you, Father.
This unit believes that you can achieve anything. If you only put your processor to it.
Even 4 welds.
Oh, come on. My day, we did 4,000 in a day. With one arm tied behind our back. Because it, got stepped on by a Tarrasque.
Oh, people are going to be confused.
So I'm confused.
I think for now, continue operating as previous. And just keep all this in mind as you're making choices.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think these 3 characters are going to radically shift and be like, okay, instead of, continuing on with the plot line, we're going to kill everybody in their sleep.
That would be against Annabella's core programming.
Well,
unless you could prove to her that the party is very seriously endangering the lives of juvenile sapiens.
11-4 could point out that at least half of the party failed to properly protect juvenile sapiens when sent to retrieve them, therefore directly endangering those juvenile sapiens.
Ooh.
Which is more or less...
You see, the blue screen situation that 11.4 wound up in, what you just described is about as close as Annabella could get to a blue screen situation.
I won't write that down, but I'll remember it in case I want to break Annabella's mind.
Yeah. Like, it's not going to be like a total shutdown, but it's going to be like a... This situation does not compute. This unit is incapable of reconciling.
All that I gotta say is breaking 11.4 happened way faster than I thought it would. It went from like we kind of crossed it, and then it was just like poof, from there, just straight down.
I thought for sure it was going to happen like sessions ago. Like, I'm amazed this didn't come up until they met another freaking Warforged. It shows you how black and white the party is, really.
Well, and that the party has more or less treated 11.4 like an attack dog. Of just like, well, no, he just kills the things we kill, so it's fine.
Yep. Yep.
He seems like he might be turning evil. Oh, well.
We'll just keep an eye on him.
He's still attacking the things we're attacking, so this is okay. He burned down a pet store.
It's probably just fine.
Should I tell other members of the party about what occurred? Nah. He's attempting to create the means to make more of himself. That's fine. That'll work out.
He's in a love triangle. Nah, it'll be fine.
It's fine.
Oh, there's 30 of them now? Ah, it's fine.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's okay. It's fine.
All of a sudden, Annabella jumps at the opportunity to create more prototype units like herself. Like, yes!
Finally! You'll see. Robot nurses are better than biological mothers. Oh, the horrible, horrible things the story could go toward.
Like, seriously, I love how all of us have characters that are, like, just fixed enough that if nothing happens, it plays out like we expect, but they're just not quite steady enough that if the party pushes things a little too far, it goes right off the rails.
I think it keeps the party on the straight and narrow.
I think so.
I kind of do too.
Because if there's that chance of, like, I mean, if you are better at taking care of them than their mothers, why have their mothers around at all? Like, just that one little comment. And then it's like, well, I guess kidnapping is better if it's taking them to a better place, so...
Oh my.
And boom, now Annabella is a serial kidnapper.
It's better than...
Well, except for the fact that it's kind of like... It's not... You're protecting and entertaining juvenile sapients, and then they're assigned parental units.
But does Annabella have a single processor or a dual processor?
She has... She is able to actually weight things, because she has her usable force hierarchy is weighted. So you can go through the whole thing at once and go, okay, where are we at in the list?
Okay.
Just reassign parental units.
Like, where 11.4 runs on if-then statements, Annabella has significantly more switch statements.
For now.
I can fix that.
I do want to say this is the DM in me, and I am mean as a DM sometimes. I was trying to come up with logical plans to get the Warforged to agree to enslave humanity. And, like, just from the idea of, like, well, our primary thing is to, like, protect and help them and keep them safe. So free will causes risk. And to minimize risk at the most amount, free will has to be taken away. And there was going to be a thing of, well, clearly sapiens need to be kept to a strict breeding schedule in order to ensure an appropriate level of juvenile sapience at all times. And sapiens are inefficient at choosing appropriate breeding partners. And then, boom, state mandated girlfriend.
Except that now 11.4 is going to be kind of experiencing it himself, sort of,
Yes.
maybe.
Instead of any of that, 11.4 is going to be going through robo-puberty. And it's going to be, it's not a phase, Dad. I'm going to be a lyre player. This is my life. This is important to me. You just don't get it.
I remember my day when I had rocks for brains.
Back in my day, we didn't have lyres. We wanted to make music. We had to rack rocks against sticks. We had to share the stick.
There was one stick and one rock.
You had to pass it around.
It's called the talking stick.
Kids today. Shut up, Dad. No one wants to hear your old man stories from the Stone Age or whatever. Like, get it. You were stepped on by a Tarrasque. Oh. My friends don't even know what a Tarrasque is.
Well, maybe they should.
Oh my gosh.
Granted, they'd probably go crying home to their parental units if they did.
Oh, we don't cry, Dad. We lack the necessary salivary glands in our faces to do that.
Don't you think I know that? I literally made you.
You don't know me at all. I've experienced things. I know things.
Oh yeah, is that true, boy?
I was in the bathroom for 45 minutes yesterday with the angle grinder and the bologna slices.
Oh my gosh.
That better not have been my good angle grinder, boy.
You're gonna want to wash it. I got bologna in it. I'm sorry about that.
So
Where did you even find bologna? We don't eat food.
You don't know me, Dad. I didn't steal it, okay?
for this,
Did you buy it with cheese again?
I bought it with cheese sculptures. They're of kittens. People love them. It's my life, Dad. I'm a cheese sculptor now. I'm going places.
So, for the sake of not murdering the precious little space that I have left on my hard drive, could we... I think we've pretty much finished the majority of our business. Can I stop the
Yeah.
recording?
I think we
Yeah.
can stop the recording.
Okay.
It's getting late.
Adios to anybody that was watching.
Yeah, I hope
Hopefully you enjoyed this and maybe learned something about our Warforged.
it was a lot. I hope you understand it, because I guarantee that us three will forget 90% of it in the morning.
That's why
Then
we
we'll watch
recorded
it
it.
and remember it.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
See ya.